so big, so much to do and see.
Let's go see.
I'm a young prospector, prodigy. I can't succeed in being you.
So what to do?
So you be you and I'll be me. I'll be me. I just like you, I'm gonna be me.
Kujo, Kujo,
Just like you, I'm gonna be me.
Kujo, Kujo, Kujo. Kujo, Kujo,
Just like you, I'm gonna be me.
Kujo, Kujo, Kujo.
Hello friends, my name is Kujo and this is my workshop. I'm so glad that you can join us today for a very special edition of Kujo's Kid Zone. I actually wanted to chat with you about... Oh wow, it looks like we have a message from Adjoa and Kwaku.
Hi, Kujo! It's Adjua! I have a question. I was flying around Calgary and I noticed that there was a lot of people gathered and shouting Black Lives Matter. What does that mean?
Hi Kujo, it's Kwaku. I've been hearing a lot of people chanting Black Lives Matter. I want to know, what is Black Lives Matter?
Those were some great questions, Adjoa and Kwaku. Thanks for asking. That's exactly what I wanted to talk about today. So, what does Black Lives Matter really mean? And why were all of those people walking together? In order to help us understand, let's go over some important words together. Black Lives Matter, protest, racism, privilege, and what can we do to make things better? What is Black Lives Matter? Black Lives Matter is a global organization. Their job is to stop people and other companies that feel they can be unkind to people just because of the color of their skin. Throughout history, people with darker skin have been treated unfairly. What is a protest? A protest happens when we do not agree with an idea or a decision. People protest using their voice, music, signs, marches, petitions to show they don't agree. When enough people protest, it puts a lot of pressure to force a change. In these pictures, people who agree with Black people to be treated fairly and kindly are standing side by side so that everyone can live safely together. An example of a protest is when your parents or guardians are like, "It's time to go to bed," and you're like, "One more bedtime story, please, please." You are protesting in hopes that they will change their mind and have you stay up late like you wanted. Around the world, people are protesting in hopes that people that have a different skin color can be treated fairly and equally as all people. What is racism? When a group of people are treated unfairly just because of the way they look. Unfortunately, some groups of people are even bullied because of the color of their skin. Skin color is determined by the melanin in your body. Depending on which part of the world your parents or great-great-grandparents were from, If they lived in areas with a lot of sun, they typically tend to be with darker skin, with darker eyes and hair color. And if they were living in areas with not a lot of sun, they were lighter with lighter eyes and hair color. You have no control over the color of your skin. You were simply born this way. Privilege. Privilege is something that helps some people to get things while some others don't. An example of this would be, let's say your friends get a new toy that they bring to the classroom. However, your teacher says, only all the kids with long hair can play with this toy. If you have short hair, you can't play with this toy. How would that make you feel? Is that fair? Is that right? What can you do as children to make sure that everyone is being treated fairly? Well, you can be kind to everyone you come in contact with, no matter what they look like. You can be brave by sticking up for others that are in need of your help and assistance. You can be curious by making sure that you learn about your own culture and that of others, to make sure that you can understand the differences, but at the same time the similarities that join both of us together with various cultures. And then, of course, you can be yourself by embracing your uniqueness and the qualities that make you beautiful both outside and on the inside, and making sure that you feel comfortable to stick up for yourself and let people know if you feel that you're being treated unfairly. We actually went to a protest and got some ideas from other grown-ups on what they can also do to help.
I think the most important thing is to just call things out when you see it, to take an opportunity when you see an injustice happening, to have a discussion, not to just pass it by or brush it off as something insignificant.
I think that the first thing is I would keep them away from social media. So just making sure that the news doesn't come on while they're watching TV or anything, because this is such a complex issue to explain to a child. So it's more about you being more in control in talking to your children, and this is a good opportunity for you to maybe take out an atlas or take out the geography of the world. And
I think the Black Lives Matter movement should be taught to kids in a gradual process, kind of introducing them to ideas such as all cultures are similar, and parents of all cultures should teach their kids to not discriminate towards any black people or Mexican people or Asian people at all. And then after that idea is implemented into the child's mind about how everyone is equal, then the parents can go about telling them the horrible truth that's going on in our community about black people and people of all cultures being discriminated and being treated this way.
I think that we're not as aware of it in Canada, and so I would have to say for parents, it's really important to let your children know that, different peoples do have different experiences, and that some of them do face injustices, and that when those children see those things happening, they need to be brave enough to speak up, and they need to stand up and say something.
Like, you have to have this conversation right when they're young. Like, you can't do it later. You have to start before the prejudices start to set in. Like, there's studies, I don't know the exact statistics on it, but there's studies out there of when children start to develop these prejudices against races. So it's like you have to start young, that's the first thing. And you can't be embarrassed about having the conversation. It's an important thing to start. How to keep it moving. I've seen lots of people saying, start donating now, but keep your donations coming.
Well, she was seeing it on the news like since last week, so she was asking a lot of questions, so I thought that it was a good idea to bring her here and she will witness what people are going to say, because like right now kids are really like they want to know everything.
Yeah.
So I think it's easier for me to bring her, and she will listen what people will say, and if she has other questions she can ask Dad will break it down for her.
Like, for me, it's really about I do research, you know, at university. It's about re-engaging my research around, you know, equity in science education and really supporting the advancement of Black and other marginalized lives in science education, both in being able to pursue science careers and then also in thinking about the young children to have them engage in science learning, because like as you know, in many Black and brown communities there aren't that access to a lot of the enrichment and the diverse learning experiences and opportunities, and also how we think about science and place and relationships and things like that is not often included in science teaching and learning. So I really want to re-engage with that kind of work because I feel that it is critical work not only for Black children but also for everyone to really understand diverse perspectives in science and how we understand and know about and learn about our world. And with issues like this, because I consider this a socio-scientific issue, and I'm going on and on, sorry, but it's a socio-scientific issue, which is an issue that has social and scientific components. And in order for people to be more informed, we need to have people more engaged in this type of science learning and diverse people engaged in it so that we're bringing these different perspectives so that when problem solving happens, it's not just coming from the dominant, like white, middle class, Eurocentric science perspective.
I'm probably just looking for those maybe candidates that I know can articulate good policies that will help, you know, integrate the community better, you know, bring better schooling, better food sources, more access, more diversity. So if they can articulate policies that will, you know, just engage people better and do better in the long run, then I'll probably look for those kind of candidates to support them.
And that is the only way. Color skin doesn't matter. Genetics tells us that. It's all about living the example. You treat everybody with the same respect and honesty. What you give out is what you get back. So, you know, you just, it's not rocket science as far as I'm concerned. It's just treat everybody the way you want them to treat you. What you give out is what you give back. Is what you get back.
Sure, so I teach at a high school in Northeast Calgary, and race is at the forefront of a lot of conversations that we have. I'm so sad that this whole COVID-19 thing has come along and kind of distanced those conversations a little bit, but we're trying to have them and open that dialogue as much as we can. And I think that's what it is. It's conversations, it's bearing witness to each other's stories, and it's trying to move forward together.
I think it's our duty to educate ourselves, number one, and educate others, because not knowing is not an excuse. However, it's important that you know. Like, we cannot stay away from education. How we raise our kids, how we teach our, because the next generation, we're almost done. We're probably not going to see racial equality in our lifetime. I can tell you that as a fact, right? But our kids is so important that they learn what is going on.
I think it's important for white people to use their privilege, and you know, we have a bit of a big platform and we have the opportunity to speak up for people that don't have the same opportunities as us. So I think it's important for me personally, I will be using my privilege as much as I can to speak about as many injustices that are going on and totally, completely unacceptable, but they are still happening in 2020.
Thank you so much for being part of the show. I'd like to thank all of the contributors, especially Natasha Pennycook, for all of her help and her ideas and her suggestions. Thank you so much. And for all of you that are watching, if you have any additional ideas that you'd like to share, please view the contact information below. For more information in regards to educating yourself and your kids about Black Lives Matter, please click on the link below.
Like a lot. I think constantly having those conversations with her and in front of her, and I think also just when we encounter people of different races, making sure that we are aware of our own behavior and being very, very positive and making sure she hears us speaking with those people and having valuable human interactions so that she will do that in the future too.
So starting possibly a nonprofit to help the Black community would be great. That's like what I really want to do. But for now, I have the group, and I'm going to work on strengthening community within the group, because it's not just Black, it's Black, white, Indigenous, everything right now. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that.
To find resources online, particularly like Black, Indigenous, people of color, because they're the ones that have experienced it, and they have like the lived experience, and I think that's something we need to start voicing and I guess seeing more of.
Myself, I try to teach family and friends as much as I can. Unfortunately, due to my brain surgery, I can only do so much, but I try to push as hard as I can.
For me, well, we've started the Black Empowerment Fund, me and a crew of people that really just help facilitate the community and the community's needs. So right now, after kind of this week dies down, we took a few self-care days, and we're really just like getting things out in full swing, deciding where to initially allocate that money, how to get the community involved. A big thing for us is we're making sure that every receipt, transaction, donation is live on the website, so people know exactly where the money's going in their community. Yeah, it's not a big corporation, we're not hiding anything. We really just want to be like, hey, this money is going directly to the Black community and allies, etc., workshops in Calgary. So that's kind of what we're doing. We're speaking with like a bunch of other organizers, people that are interested in helping out and using their reach and their resources to just make Calgary a better place for the Black community, not only the Black community, but everybody. So yeah.